having shot to fame on Love Island in 2017. Oh, look at you there. Wow, look at that bod. Gabby Allen has since made a name for herself as a successful fitness influencer.
So it came as a huge shock to fans when Gabby revealed that she was once told she may never walk again as a result of her scoliosis. Now, that's a condition where the spine curves sideways. Ahead of scoliosis, hard to deal with, hard to say as well. It's the Awareness Month this month, and Gabby joins us now alongside Dr Zoe. Good morning to you both.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great, how are you?
We're super. Yeah, we're super, and good to see you. We'll talk about this because nobody knew. We didn't know when we watched you on Love Island. What made you come out and tell everyone about it?
I think when I first went on originally, I was thinking, this is probably the first time young people have seen someone on screen with the scars, because I do have 16-inch scars down my back and down my side. So that was one thing when I show it off, and also all my fitness content as well shows it off too. So it shows that you can, look great and feel confident about your scars.
And be super fit and super healthy. Let's talk about your diagnosis. When did you first find out that you had scoliosis?
I was around 11 or 12 years old. I was actually on holiday and my dad was teaching me how to dive. And my mum was like, wait a minute, she's a bit wonky. And then straight away when we got home, we took me to the doctors. And within a few months, I was already on the operating table because it was growing so quickly.
Right, so it was quite a rapid pace. And thinking, I mean, fast forward to now, and you are like the fittest woman that I've ever seen. And, that's your, your DNA is now you're a fitness instructor. So that is the bones of you. At one point, you thought or you were told that you might not ever walk again.
Yeah.
That is quite something to hear.
I think as a young girl, the scariest thing for me was that I was never going to dance again. I was like, well, it doesn't matter about walking. I need to be able to dance because that's what I wanted to do. So I wasn't told much information before going in. Obviously, my parents didn't want to scare me.
Of course.
But yeah, it's a 10-hour operation. Well, the one that I had was. And they fused my whole spine from top to bottom. I've got rods through the whole spine, nuts and bolts and everything. And you have to sign a form saying that, there's a chance that you might not be able to walk. I did have to learn how to walk again. But within 6 months, I was dancing. I won ballet competitions like 9 months later. So I think that's what built my resilience to be where I am now with strength training.
Your love of fitness.
Yeah.
Because that's a tricky age. You're saying you're 11. That's like secondary school age. You know, being a young person at that time is already challenging and having to go through this. But like you say, maybe that is the sort of the flip side of it is actually it's so inspirational. People watching this, if they're young and have just been affected by this, that the other side of it is, look at you now.
Yeah, you can do anything. And I think also because I was in dancing at the time, that was already, my discipline there. And I think that's been brought over. Like, I feel so much better the stronger I am.
Yes.
And you can, as long as you listen to your GP and all that first and make sure that you're safe to do it, just get strong and get back in there.
Should we listen to our GP?
Let's listen to our GP.
Let's go right back to the start, Zoe. What is it exactly?
So scoliosis is an abnormal curvature of the spine. Now, if you look at somebody from the side, the spine does have some curves, and that's normal. We need that. But if you look at somebody from the front or the back, nobody's spine is perfectly straight. We've all got slight curvatures. But if a curvature is exaggerated, as you can see here on these images, so the thoracic spine, which you see on the left, that's the top part of the spine below the neck, and the lumbar spine is the lower part of the spine. So the scoliosis can affect either, or it can affect both. Right. And sometimes you see a C shape or an S-type shape. Now, the reality is if your child has scoliosis, you might not notice the curvature of the spine itself. A bit more, exactly as Gabby said, you might just think they look a bit wonky. I think that was a really good description. Not a medical term, but I think... but you might notice that their shoulders are uneven, their waist looks uneven, or their hips. Or actually, if you ask them to bend forward to touch their toes, you might notice that one shoulder blade sticks up. So I think what's really important is if you notice something like that in your child, it's important to take them to the GP and get it diagnosed as soon as possible.
And it won't always end up in a big operation, right?
No.
There can be... It's layered, it's different levels,
yes,
right?
so in the majority of cases, surgery is absolutely not necessary. In Gabby's case, it was a severe curvature, which actually the trajectory of that as she was going to grow was going to get more severe. So the majority of cases can be managed what we call conservatively. So that would mean just being monitored over time with X-rays, seeing a physiotherapist so that you can be informed as to the things that you can do, which involves being strong strong, being active, living a normal life and looking after your spine to protect it. And that is to reduce the risk of complications like back pain in the future. Some people, if they've got sort of moderate, they may need to be required to wear some form of brace.
Right.
So that's to control the way in which the spine is growing, especially going through growth spurts. But for the majority of people, surgery isn't required.
And as a parent, because I'm always that parent that's like, right, we're going to keep an eye on that. I'm not like I don't ever do anything in a rush. I'll keep an eye on that and see how they go. Is it something that you should keep an eye on, or as soon as you notice something, it's quite important to act on it?
I think as soon as you notice something, if you're not so sure, you're a bit concerned, it's best to just it's a 10-minute GP consultation. The GP might be able to reassure you and say, well, let's monitor it, but it's best just to check rather than be worried about it when either there's nothing needs to be done or if there is scoliosis, the sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
And what would you say is the best advice on living with scoliosis?
So I think that the key advice is that with scoliosis, people can live a full and normal life. But it is important to look after the spine and protect the spine. And, you know, I think Gabby's a perfect example of somebody who has had surgery but has also done loads of things. Her interest in dance was probably really protective in a lot of ways because she had that motivation to get moving and to stay active and to be strong. So I think, yeah, the best advice is to, you know, over 2 million people in the UK have this.
Right.
It's fairly common. People may feel like they're on their own and it's just affecting them, but it's not. So reach out to support groups, you know, make friends with like-minded people. If you're a parent with a child with scoliosis, reach out to other parents and be in this together. But supporting children to live a normal, active life and take on board any support through physiotherapists or, you know, through specialists if surgery is required, just following the advice.
It was spun on me when I was a kid. So my shoulder's a little bit off. And I just had to do a lot of physio when I was a kid. It hasn't changed a thing. I just walk a bit odd. But I think that's just because I'm a bit odd. Nothing to do with anything. Going on Love Island's brilliant, particularly with this in mind now. And what you said about showing off the scars and being proud of them and being proud of your
Using it as a
past.
platform.
It's just really important. And a huge part of your Love Island journey, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. And you know what's funny? Coming from remembering when I was younger, I was embarrassed of my scars, and I wish I could tell my younger self now, don't be embarrassed, they're amazing. You know, you show people how strong you are. So now, the fact that I do wear them with pride and, you know, have them off at all times, it's a talking point, you know. So I'd like young people just to know that you should be proud of them, and if you have to go through that. And also, if you are a bit wonky, doesn't matter. You're doing the work to, like, make yourself unwonky. You make you different, you know?
Yeah,
exactly.
Different is good, right?
Different
And
is
it's
great.
all part of your story. I think it's so funny, as you say, when you're growing and you're learning, and you're dealing with everybody else around you, but you do worry about scars, and we see it with skin and people with acne, and it's a lot, isn't it? Those years are so formative and sort of taking everyone else's opinion around you, but you've done such an incredible thing using that platform to raise awareness about something that not a lot of people know about, but can actually be something that is
some of the messages I've had from young people and their parents just saying, you know, thank you for sharing your story. I've talked more about it this year than I did before, but even just beforehand, just on Instagram, you know, thanks for sharing that you've got a scar. And that's rewarding as well, because I'm like, see,
and it's nice for you too, and like you say, you talk more about it now because you'll be getting more and more confident as that happens.
My daughter Elsa, who's the scariest of my children, says you've got a vibe. And that's a good thing.
There you go.
No, he does have a vibe.
That is a huge compliment for us because he says that he says is that she's scary. She's my one that's scary.
You're scary.
She loved you on Love Island so much, so much. And there's a
we should talk about 10 years.
Right?
10 years of Love Island.
I know.
How has that happened?
I don't know, but it's great. I can't, like, it just gets better and better each time. I think it gets bigger and bigger.
I'm obsessed with it.
I was on it 8 years ago.
Wow.
So
I just know that my summer's about to be taken over, and I'm here for it. There's no saying. My husband is like, "Are we watching this again?" Yes, we are. And you're invested. Don't pretend that you're not. I know. You know when they do that thing when he'll be like, "Are we really watching this again?" And then he'll go to the toilet and he'll be like, "Just pause that a minute, babe." I'm like,
classic.
He wasn't watching it, was he?
Is it weird that 3 strangers are so invested in your love life? Is it? And watched it all play out.
You guys, everybody.
Oh my God!
Like
are we allowed? Are we allowed? It's all. It's all.
We're here for love.
Great.
I'm all here for love. That's what
we'll
I
leave
like
it there.
to
We're all here for love, but
there's a documentary. That's right. That's right. A Decade of Love. It airs at 9 p.m. this Sunday on ITV2 and ITVX. I will be there.
Yes, and
Absolutely.
regarding scoliosis with your kids, if you think something's off cute, just go get it checked. Don't worry,
Go and
just get
see
it
your
checked.
GP. If in doubt, even if it's just for reassurance, you'll all feel better
Yes.
if your GP can reassure you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you both.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you for talking about
Good
that.
stuff.
Lovely to see you.
You too. Have a great day.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.